Welcome to Slow and Steady, the podcast where you get to follow along as we build products in public. Each week, we'll give you an honest peek into our lives as we share our struggles, our wins, and everything in between. I'm Benedikt, and I'm feeling a little bit unorganized.
I'm Benedicte. Today is June 7th. This is episode number 142, and I am feeling calm.
Did you meditate right before this?
I didn't, but I did relax. I did have a very relaxing morning.
How is your yoga streak doing, by the way?
My yoga, it's going a little bit up and down, but last week I did 4 out of the 5 kind of weekdays, which is a little less than I want to. I want to try to do 6 a week. But I find that the weekends are pretty hard. And the other people also in my yoga community, I guess, our little DM group on Twitter, it's like easier on the days where everything is more like ordinary, where you get up, you do your yoga, and then kind of, if I do it as soon as I kind of get up or as soon as Lillian is out of the house, I get it done. And then the times I'm like, well, I'm just going to do this other thing first and then I'll get to the yoga, I'm just kidding myself and it doesn't get done. So it feels like that might be the case today because I stayed in, I decided to read and just relax this morning. So I haven't gotten to my yoga. But still, it's been going on since October. And I don't think I maybe had 1 or 2 weeks where I haven't done any yoga. Otherwise, there's always been like 2 or 3 sessions at least. So feeling kind of proud about that. Like I'm a yoga person. I can say I'm a yoga person now.
For sure.
So
what else has been going on? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the summer vacation, when we change scenery, we're going to go to the cabin. I need to be like really on it the first couple of days so that I kind of get my yoga going. Mm-hmm. And since I am not going to work, I should also try to maybe do some longer sessions. So we'll see how that goes. Or if that is just wishful thinking.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And then I'd be like I'll be that obnoxious yoga person, right? Everyone, I'll post photos so you can like feel that I'm obnoxious, because then I'm going to be the yoga person who's like doing yoga on her deck, looking out over the ocean, and all of that. But I still look really bad doing it, so I might not be as obnoxious. But like, let's say in 5 years, I'll be like super obnoxious person doing like a, arm stand or something on my, or headstand on my deck.
Nice.
You can also start today, and maybe in 5 years you can do a headstand. Everyone can if they just put their. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, you ask how the rest of my week has been. It's been just such a super ordinary week. I don't really know what to report other than like I did my yoga, mostly at least. We did our stream. It went really well. Did my emails, except actually on Tuesday because I got so caught up in the Cloudinary work, figuring out how to solve some of the issues in the plugins with Gatsby version 4 and the new image plugin. So I kind of forgot. And then instead of pressuring myself to do it kind of after hours or late at night, I just decided to skip it. It feels like with the yoga, it feels, some people really feel like they have to keep that streak. But I find that if it's okay, it's better for me if it's okay to skip like once in a while, so that it doesn't get too strict. And I don't think people mind, like they get an email every day. So if they don't get one day, like it's okay. And also, again, we had a long weekend in Norway. And even though not everyone kind of knows, but my policy is to not send emails on the days that school is out or it's a bank holiday. So I didn't send an email yesterday. But anyway, so super ordinary week. Just did all the things I was supposed to do. Worked on the Cloudinary plugins. It was really fun. Got to, dig down deep and figure it out. And we've figured out kind of all of the solutions now. So now we need to implement. The next 2 weeks, we're going to implement the solutions, but kind of figure out where the problems were and how to fix that.
So the fun part is done. Now it's the grunt work of actually doing it.
Yes! But luckily, I do have a junior, so Ulla is doing some of that. And nice, I get to do the fun parts. No, but yeah, absolutely. It's going to be like a little bit, especially with so much stuff happening before the summer, but I think definitely we'll have it done before the summer holidays. And we got admin access to the repos yesterday. And, so I've been able to start cleaning up the issues and closing out PRs that that aren't valid anymore, and all of that stuff. So, and then we'll start, merging in our own PRs as we go along this week and next week. So kind of just, I don't know, ordinary week, just like doing the things.
Yeah. Doesn't sound too bad though.
No, it's surprisingly nice to just like know what to do and just do it and not be so, I don't know, chasing anything new or trying to like do something extra special. But the weekend, as I said, we had another long weekend in Norway. I feel like, May and then early June. Like there's when are we supposed to work? There's like this days off all the freaking time. And yesterday, which was the Monday, that was off, and we had that meeting with Cloudinary, and we thought we'll just send Lillian to some friends and actually do work on that Monday because I like really wanted to work. But then this weekend we actually got like a proper summer weekend in Norway, and you just got to take it when you get it. So yesterday it was 25 degrees Celsius, which is really a lot in Norway. So we ended up going into the woods, swimming and going for a walk, and kind of just seizing the day instead of working. So that was absolutely nice way to spend the day, I think. And I think we'll manage to do the work that we're supposed to do with taking that day off. And then on Saturday there was like a Oslo music day, so there's like little scenes all around Oslo with different bands playing and artists and marching bands that were like walking through the city. So Lillian and I spent like a lot of time outdoors and just like taking in the summer city. I love this, like this, I don't know, there's something, if you ever visit Norway, come in spring and come when it's actually good weather, which you probably can't know if it's going to be, but there's just something about like everybody waking up after the winter and like seeing the sun and like going outside. It's another nice summer holiday in Norway, which is kind of interesting because we did have that for 17th of May was like a beautiful day, and then this long weekend was also a beautiful long weekend, and the other days haven't really been that good, as I might mention that tomorrow it's going to be like 15 degrees and 14 millimeters of rain. So somehow we really lucked out on our bank holidays. So our bank holidays have been perfect. Rest of the
usually
time,
it's the other way around, right?
Exactly. Usually it is. So I'm very interested in how this summer is going to be, because we're going back to our summer house for the first time in 3 years. And like sometimes it can be like a beautiful summer, but I also have pictures of Lillian when she was like a year and a half walking around in her fall full-on rain outfit, and that was like our summer. So we'll see how it goes, but it's going to be nice. There will be a lot more recreational coding, I'll tell you, if it's going to be raining all summer.
For sure, yeah.
So what's up with you?
Yeah, we had a long weekend as well. I didn't, but I'll get to that in a moment.
Oh, sorry. You had a long weekend as well.
We had a long weekend as well. We're in Germany, and we mostly lucked out on weather as well. Like we had it was raining a lot on Sunday, but well, we just decided to stay at home and not do much. But we did some local sightseeing and being a local tourist in your own neighborhood, more or less, on Saturday, and finally got to visit the Upper Rhine Valley, which isn't that far away from here. And it has got like all this old castles and stuff like that, and really old, nice little towns. And it was just a nice tour to get to see all of that. And it's close by, but I've never been there for like all the years that I'm living here. So we decided to finally give it a shot, and we will be going there again soonish, I guess, because it was really nice.
It's weird how bad we are, at least I am, at like, visiting and exploring the local area, always kind of traveling.
Yeah.
And then there's something with staycation, like they call it staycation. I guess, where you just kind of, you take your vacation week or whatever, but you stay at home. And I kind of like that concept. I need to do more of that as well.
Yeah. I usually try, like, we did a staycation once, but I guess there's also value in like getting outside of your house for a week or so for a proper vacation. But at least like for nice weekends like this one was like, I try to like figure something out in the area, like visit a place I've never been before. So usually Saturday morning you can see me on my phone looking at Google Maps and being like, I've been there and we did that, and what's this thing? I've never heard about this one. And I'd like try to figure out something nice to do, and that's always a good opportunity, to find interesting spots nearby, and usually makes up for a good time. So we try to do that a lot. Yeah, but that was my weekend. As I mentioned last week, we were planning to launch new pricing last week, and it's mostly done. But while doing like the final touches on like testing everything in combination, I guess, like fully integrated, I ran into some issues with proration and showing upcoming invoices and stuff like that, because one change we did in this iteration is that when you change your plan, we'll actually tell you how much we're going to charge you from now on. And while trying out that flow, it became obvious that our assumptions were too simple and this isn't quite working the way we were hoping it to work. So it was a little bit back to the drawing board and moving some stuff around and refactoring things. And I feel like we've got it mostly working by now, but I don't know. It's just super complicated to get proration flows right and feel right and look right and communicating everything that's affecting it. And Jane is on a vacation this week, so when I think it's done, we'll probably wait another week until she's back to actually discuss this and make some final calls on is this the behavior we want or not, because it's not. Yeah, we tried to have a conversation about this on Slack end of last week, but it's so easy to just like throw out assumptions and be like, yeah, just make it like this. And then when you actually try to implement it and try to wrangle the Stripe API to do it that particular way, it's not always possible and it doesn't always make sense. So
I feel like this is eerily similar to your new sign-up flow experience.
Maybe, yeah. But I guess in that case, it was definitely a planning mistake on our side. This is more like just the thing is, I don't know.
Hard,
yeah. And sometimes I wonder if we just like, I guess the core of the issue is that both Jane and I, we don't like the default way Stripe is handling prorations. Because they do it like it's absolutely correct, but it makes up for weird invoices and weird charges to people's accounts that aren't always quite obvious, and we try to avoid that. But I guess we're making our lives harder by trying to avoid that, because like, for example, when you upgrade a monthly plan, we don't prorate, we just like change your plan today but only start charging for it with your next billing cycle. But for example, that doesn't work if you switch from a monthly plan to an annual plan, or even upgrade an annual plan to a different annual plan, because then if you do that in month one of your annual subscription, you get an entire year free of the more expensive plan, and that kind of feels wrong as well. And then we also have this, like now we have like the different tiers, like at different prices. We have monthly and annual. And on top of that, we also still have the adjustments based on your usage. So it's like 3 axes on which things can move, and that just makes the entire thing a lot more complicated. I think I got the implementation working, tests are passing, and all of that. But as I said, like, still not sure if I should roll it out before doing a final rundown with Jane and getting it signed off on. Because I don't know, it's just, yeah, it's hard and counterintuitive in a lot of ways. So, anyways, but it's hopefully done soon. Talking about Stripe, I also did a little bit more work on the Stripe apps thing. I started working on an OAuth 2 implementation to make userlist an OAuth 2 provider and implemented the Pixie protocol that Stripe requires for OAuth providers and stuff like that. And in the process, it just became so obvious that this is nowhere close as simple to what it was before. So I started complaining a bit more to Stripe. There was a Q&A session last week, which I attended and asked questions and posted to GitHub and complained. So already feeling bad about it. But hopefully,
listen, everyone, we are not sponsored by Stripe. This is our proof.
Yes. Yeah. To be honest, I'm not even sure what a good solution would look like, but it's obvious that what they're proposing right now isn't quite there yet. So we see what comes out of it. And as the billing stuff is hopefully done by now, I will spend some more time on this in the next couple of days and weeks, and hopefully get a Stripe integration up and running sometime soon. There's still a little bit of backend work required as well, so I'll probably do that and hope that the other like authentication and setup part will be solved in the next couple of weeks. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting my hopes up too high. But anyways,
being the first mover isn't always the best. Like sometimes it's a little cumber, especially if they end up changing some of the ways they do things, and then you have to update everything because they make a breaking change. Or
that's the part I'm not entirely sure about. But I mean, the upside is like if it's hard for us, it's hard for everyone else as well. I think, hopefully. So maybe it still pays off to go down the hard path and like figure out the hard stuff, and then just be one of the early players in there. But we'll see how it works out. I mean, there's still a lot of work to do. Yeah. And then the other thing, we are kicking off with our front-end developer because he's done with billing settings and all of that. That's wrapped up. So we started the kickoff call for our new what you see is what you get editor for email editing today. And we will be ditching Markdown eventually. So this is like step one in that direction. We see how it goes. It's like we're a little bit in exploration phase at this point, I guess. I threw him some hard problems to figure out in terms of like detecting liquid tags when you enter curly braces and stuff like that, and formatting them and highlighting them in the editor, and all of stuff that isn't supported by the default implementation of the editor we're using, but would be nice in terms of usability. So that's what we're trying to do this week, is just like start entirely from scratch in a way with a new component in our UI that's not used anywhere but can be used eventually, and just like start super small with like a simple editor that just like does paragraphs of text, and you can highlight stuff and make them bold or italics, and then on top of that be able to recognize liquid tags in there and highlight them, and then maybe show some UI so you can actually see what properties are available for you and maybe what modifiers are available for you on those liquid tags. So it's, in a way, it's still a research project, but if we get that right, I think we can increase just the usability and the user experience of the entire editing workflow quite a bit. So it's an exciting project, but it's hard to tell like how hard it will actually be and how fast we can get it done. But it feels like it's one of those.
You're making it from scratch, you said, or are you using some kind of structure or some kind of...
We're using an extension, like we're using an existing WYSIWYG editor framework. That we're already using that, but as I said, like we need to make a lot of changes to it and make it work the way we want it to. So we are not reusing or trying to adapt what we had before, but like using the same structure, but starting from scratch in terms of what we layer on top of it and how we layer it on top of it. Because I feel like this might be the easiest way, and also opens up the possibility of reusing the old way and the new way in parallel. Because I feel like because we store everything in Markdown right now, and we don't want to do this anymore in the future, at some point there has to be a transition. Either we like migrate everything, or what's most likely going to happen is if you create a new email, you get a new editor, and if you edit an old email, you still get the old editor until we have all the kinks figured out and like have a solid transition path. And then eventually, I guess we just move everyone to the new editor. But by keeping the two separate, I hope we're making things easier for us down the road because of being able to have like stuff in parallel. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Yeah,
so
but
another
overall,
one of those hard things. You've been tackling hard things this 6 months. I feel like you've been doing some.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, a lot of this stuff is fundamentals, I guess, and maybe hard fundamentals. And I'm hoping, especially with the new editor, that we get the building blocks right so we can unlock more exciting stuff and like actually useful stuff in the future. And getting the building blocks right is sometimes a little bit harder than just doing one thing.
But I feel like at least the editor is more core to your business. That might be exciting for you because a lot of the other work has been important stuff, but it's not really doesn't have that much to do specifically with your business.
Yeah, that's true. But a lot of it was, I guess, boilerplate that was required at some point. So we had to bite the bullet and do, like, as I said, the permission system and stuff like that. We didn't have anything. It was kind of, about time that we had something like this. So, yeah, I don't know. It's boilerplate we didn't do in the early days and maybe moved a little bit faster because of that. But now we had to eat that cost, so catch
I didn't suggest that you shouldn't have done it. I didn't suggest that you shouldn't have done it, but I just feel like isn't it more fun to work on things that are kind of core to the
that actually
maybe not. Maybe you like all coding equally good. I don't know.
I like all coding at the beginning and then hate all of it at the end, I guess. Like the billing, redoing the billing sounded like a lot of fun in the beginning, and by now I'm like, oh, could this just please be over? And I'm sure the editor stuff will feel the same way. It sounds super exciting and fun right now, but ask me in like 3 weeks or so, I'll probably be like, oh, I wish this would be over, and why does this have to be so hard? So,
we'll see.
We'll see.
But you said you were feeling unorganized. Is there a specific reason or just a general feeling?
I think it's a little bit of, I don't know. I feel like I'm once again a little bit worried or anxious about rolling out that billing change because it ended up again touching so many parts and also like non-trivial parts where we're dealing with actual money and potentially pissing people off by charging them too much and like crazy stuff like that. And because it's taken so long, because it touched so many things, I feel like I'm once again feeling anxious about it and therefore procrastinating on it a little bit more than I should. So that slows everything down. And I also feel like I have a little bit lower energy levels than I had a couple of weeks ago. but it might all be related. So yeah, should probably just pull the trigger and like roll it out and then deal with
ship it.
Yeah, and then roll it out, hope nothing breaks, and if stuff breaks, then deal with the stuff that breaks, I guess. But also the public holidays probably didn't help either. So yeah,
it's interesting how they come around every spring, and every spring I get kind of weirded out that like I don't get as much done as I usually do, which is like it's every year. You know, there's these bank holidays are nothing new. They've been in place for years and years. All my life, actually, have they been in place. But they kind of creep up on me nonetheless. And
I guess it's a part of like being self-employed and kind of not like if you want to take a day off, you take a day off, and therefore the importance of public holidays isn't that significant anymore, and therefore we probably dismiss them most of the time because, again, like I usually learn about a public holiday on Monday, and they're like, "Oh, there's something happening or nothing happening on Thursday." I didn't know. I probably figure out like.
Why is the stores closed? Like it's why are they? It's like I was working though, but after having a child, I'll tell you, when the public, when there's a public holiday because it's a very different, very different situation.
Makes sense.
But she's bigger now, so she could, like I said, on Monday we planned to just have her play with friends in the neighborhood. But because of the beautiful weather, we decided to do some first summer swim or first swim of the year.
Nice.
Which was cold. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. But
anything else?
That's about it from my side. No, it's.
I feel like I've done like my list is like 3 bullet points, and you've done a bunch. So. You win the productive.
Maybe it's the longer list, but it's not necessarily like. Maybe I did more things, but did I make more progress? I'm not entirely sure about that.
Well, that might also be a reason feeling because that's why I feel so calm this week, because there's been so few things.
Yeah,
you feel like I have oversight, like I know what I'm doing. It's not all over the place. But let me tell you, next week. I will probably not feel that way because I have to prepare my talk for the 24th of June. And I've done parts of it before, but it still needs to be prepped. And if I know myself, I'm going to leave it a little too long and then I'll stress out. But at least I know what's going to happen. So I can prepare for that.
You can either prepare or then tell yourself, why didn't I prepare? And I should have seen this coming. And I saw this coming and didn't do anything about it.
Well, I will be prepared to be unprepared and stressed.
Fair enough.
I usually pull it together though at the end. Okay.
Cool. So should we wrap it?
Wrap it.
Cool. Then
see you around the interwebs.
Bye.
Bye.